Welcome back to Two Gals in a Glass Half Full. We are in our last episode talking about breast cancer. And before we get started, Dr. Jess, what is in your glass?
I'm working still on my smoothie this morning. I actually haven't started it yet. So the goal is I consume this prior to lunch. That would be a great thing. So all sorts of fruits, protein, powder, microgreens, chia seed, flaxseed. Yeah, my homemade cashew milk, which if you have listened to our podcast recently, you'll know how much I love it. So Dr. Bobby, what's in your glass?
I am on my second glass of water.
Oh, look at you. Two
Yeah,
already.
second glass.
I love it.
It helps. I like to really drink water when I eat. So I actually had breakfast this morning and I drank a whole glass with breakfast.
Perfect. I love it. And so today we have a special guest with us. This is Jeri. And so first, before you introduce yourself, Jeri, what's in your glass?
Water.
Yeah, you got a nice fresh glass of water. It's awesome. So Jeri, can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah. I'm Jeri Millard, and I am the founder of In the Pink, which is a nonprofit for women with all types of cancer. Probably 95% of my clientele are breast cancer patients. And In the Pink has everything under one roof that cancer patients need when they, once they've left the doctor. We have wigs, hats, scarves, radiation cream, mastectomy products, compression. So we do all the lymphedema and stuff. And we're all certified fitters. And we've been in business for 14 years.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So for me, like when I moved to the area, I was like, I need to find good fitters because I treat lymphedema. So that's like number one, is like you have to have a good fitter that you can refer your patients to. And then once I got to know more about Jeri, there's more to the story, which is why we're going to interview her.
That's I was about to say.
Yeah.
What got you all started in the business and that nonprofit?
Well, I'm a two-time cancer survivor. The first time I was 29 and I had cervical cancer. And then 15 years later, at the age of 44, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so while I was going through breast cancer, I realized there weren't a lot of places for people to go where they felt comfortable. I know I didn't find any place to go. And I kept a little notebook and thought, how can we do this better? I had to go out in public to get my head shaved for the first time. I had to, go all over town looking for a wig. I had to go it was just, I thought, this is ridiculous. You already don't feel well when you're in treatment. And you certainly don't look your best or feel like you look your best. And so you're not really wanting to go out in the public realm, like, a mall or something like that. And plus, if you've had complications like I did, you're not really walking that well. And so, it was very taxing to have to do that, and very uncomfortable and very embarrassing, and et cetera, et cetera. So I kept that notebook for a long time, and I had some complications along the way, and didn't get to do it as quickly as I would have loved to have done it.
And so
you still did it.
Exactly. And the space is gorgeous. It's like feels so homey. It's actually like it's a house,
Yeah.
So like, I mean, when you walk in, it just feels good, right? Like it just feels calm, and like you're accepted as you are, and like it's a judgment-free zone, which is like key, right? That's, I mean, part of why I decorate the way I decorate is like I want you to just come in and feel like it's just chill, we're just two people chatting,
right.
Like it's not to be this like really transaction where like, what's wrong with you, what am I going to do about it, so that's why I love her shop, is because it's like I know I can have my patients go there, and whatever they might need, they're going to just be greeted with a level of acceptance that doesn't always happen in other places.
Sure.
Well, and I think you share a a special connection, I should say, because you've been there, you've been through it, you know what these people are kind of in a way feeling or going through, and you can kind of relate to them better than maybe someone that, like me, for example, that has never experienced that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, so I am privy to other information. So in addition to, so Jeri doesn't like get a cancer diagnosis and just kind of open up a shop that's like super meaningful for the public, right? She doesn't stop there, by the way. So she also really got into dragon boating. And there's an entire like segment of the dragon boating world that's just for breast cancer survivors. Like,
cool.
Like I had no idea. So Jeri's team is called the Mammograms.
I love that.
So can you tell us a little bit about your journey with like getting into dragon boating, mammograms, like all of that?
Yeah. I kept being approached because there are these teams all over the world that all paddle together that are just breast cancer survivors. It's a very growing sport, so it's not just breast cancer survivors. There's people all over the world paddling, like my husband and other people like that. But I was very, very busy getting my shop off the ground, so I kept just kind of putting it aside. Finally, someone approached me and said, would you be interested in doing this? Because we need a team. They had moved here from Miami and they had already been on a team and didn't have someplace to go, and they were going to miss this sport. And I thought, okay, we need to think about this. And so I got in a boat and paddled and realized how good that felt and how good it made me feel. And so I raised the money to purchase 2 dragon boats, and my husband is the coach. So we learned as we went along. Okay. It was not something we had done before, but you get 20 women or men in a dragon boat, and they sit in rows of 2. So there's 10 rows in the boat. You have a drummer on the front that's facing you, and a person on the back that steers the boat with a big oar. It has a dragon head on the front and a tail on the back, and anyway, and so you go out and you race other people. Well, one of the main reasons I turned to that, I'm backing up just a little bit here, is I had tried to have support groups at my shop after hours, and quickly realized that if there's a negative soul in the room, it can kind of ruin the whole experience for everyone. And I used to pray on it. I would go home afterwards and say, oh God, please, someone show me what it is that I'm doing wrong, because I would lose control of this group. And it was usually just one person that was making it kind of a miserable experience. So I wanted to have a support group, but it wasn't working out doing it in person and in a chat situation. And so dragon boating actually provided that opportunity, because these women get out in a boat and they get their endorphins flowing and they're feeling better about themselves, and you start to look better because you're exercising. And we all chat. We're the best of friends. We're like family. And we talk about all the same things you would talk about in a support group. It's like, so I need to have this done. What doctor would you suggest, or who do you know that's best at this? You know what I mean? Girl talk.
Yeah.
And so we call ourselves a floating support group. So we've been together a little over 12 years, my team. And it started out that we were just doing this for fun, just fun. And there still are people that want to do that just for fun. But as the dragon boat world has grown, we began to get a little more competitive. Of course, we're all feeling better about ourselves. We're getting stronger. So of course, we do go out and race other people, and when you win medals, well, it feels really good to win medals. And so we quickly realized that was kind of, and so we've traveled every 4 years. There is all of the breast cancer survivors in the world that are on dragon boat teams come together and compete. And now we're 13th in the world. So
Wow.
yeah, we went from
That
being
is awesome.
100, you know what I
Oh, for
mean?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
that's awesome. I mean, who can't like be smile and feel a little better when you're out in fresh air, you're on water, you're
yeah.
surrounded by good company, talking, laughing, crying, like
Mhm.
having all that good support and just a natural, beautiful environment.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And so I had a patient a few years ago who came to me and was just like in not a good space, right? Like had not a good experience with breast cancer. I don't think anybody has a good experience, but this was like a difficult experience.
Mhm.
And so like I knew on the first day I needed to like we needed something like a reach goal, like we need to get past like the vision of, because she's younger, like I mean
Mhm.
we need this reach goal to truly like start the belief system of like I am capable, I am competent, I can do this, and even though I feel horrible right now. And so she almost even like, and I was kind of working on getting out like what might this reach goal be. She kind of like muttered under her breath, I was thinking maybe dragon boating. I was like, all right, it's done. Like I cannot unsee it now. And so like we worked so hard to get from point A to like in the boat to competition ready. And then this past summer, right? It was summertime.
Last spring.
Yeah, spring. They went to New Zealand for the World
Oh, how
Junior
awesome.
Championships.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was like, but there's no way I could actually go to New Zealand. I was like, yes, you will. Like, I just that they're going to New Zealand. Like, I'm sorry, but like it's gonna happen. And so because you can is the thing. And so and the belief system, I think that happens when you get somebody into the dragon boat when they've gone through such a difficult experience, is they realize everybody else there also had that same experience and is doing it. And so like
Mhm.
the growth that you see just goes boom, 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 boom. I mean, it just like it's crazy how fast like that happens when you're just surrounded by positive people that get it. And it's like all of a sudden you're like, oh wait, like I can do this. You're right.
Mhm.
So I love the mammograms. Like
And it really is a great experience because they see someone like me, okay, 67 years old, overweight, you know, and I own who I am. She'll tell you that. I own it. And not like I'm saying, oh, I'm a skinny person. No. And so they see someone like me and go, well, she can do it. I think I could probably do that. And I honestly think that almost probably seeing someone like me is good for them, because if I was a little skinny thing that was really, really fit, they might go, oh yeah, but I don't look like you.
Right.
And so we have all ages, everyone from 30s up through 80s, that come out, and not everyone wants to be as competitive as others, and that's fine. And they don't have to go to the competitions, and they don't have to go to New Zealand and the world things, and that's fine, because it's a support group. But it's just been a fabulous experience. My husband is our coach, and I think he has the best analogy of anyone, and he certainly has a great respect for what we've been through. He says, I get these women in a boat, and some of them that come there are in like a cocoon. They're very protective of themselves. They don't want to let anyone in. It's, they're uncomfortable. They have no, self-esteem, because our body has been changed. It's a body altering, procedures that we have done.
Yeah.
And he says, I get them in this boat and they're like in a cocoon. And he says, over time, as long as you just keep being kind to them and keep telling them what a great job they're doing, he says, they just blossom into butterflies. It's like they're happy all of a sudden, and they've come out of their shell, and you find out who they really are, and you see their personalities that you didn't even know, that they had. And it's a beautiful experience. It really, really is. So, you know, he loves it.
So Jeri, I have a question for you because I don't know much about dragon boating and I've never seen it. So you described it as a person in front, a person in back, and then it's rows of two down the sides. Now, are they using like oars? Is it like an oar on each side, or like the right side of the boat does the right side, the left side does the left side?
The left side is the left side, the right side is the right side, and we use paddles. And so
Okay.
you're leaning, you know, like I'm a left side paddler, so I'm leaning forward and my arm is up and we're paddling. Okay, and the right side is doing just the opposite. But you're doing it in sync. And the more in sync you are, the faster you go.
You got it. Teamwork.
It's a lot of work.
And I was gonna say, and just watching you, how you moved your arms for the paddle, especially for someone after breast cancer, what a great exercise for range of motion and strength, and something that you don't feel as exercise. You know, it's an enjoyable activity with community and friends, but you know, you're getting all that range of motion and strength in those arms after going through something that a lot of times will diminish your strength and range of motion.
Yeah, and it really is a full body thing because you're using your legs as well. I didn't mention that, but it is a full body exercise.
Full body.
Yeah, core, diaphragmatic breathing. I mean, it is like, I've been in the boat with them, and it was like, I need to understand the technicality of the stroke if I'm going to help make sure I'm prepping my patients to get to the point where they can get in the boat. So I needed to learn, like, it's not a canoe, right? It's not a kayak. I know both of those. So I didn't know dragon boating. So I had all sorts of concoctions set up in the clinic so that we could like prep the range of motion, you know, to just make sure we had a positive experience with, like, if we've got somebody new coming into a boat that's pretty newly post-surgical, like newly within like months, not weeks, obviously.
Right. Well, what a cool connection relationship that you guys have. So Dr. Jess, you could help people be prepared so they can feel confident even stepping in. Like, I already did these motions, I already did them in therapy before they even put their foot in the boat the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, like, knowing obviously I get protective of my patients, like I want to make sure that as they, you know, we come in with this, like, really, like you said, the cocoon, like really careful about how we progress and what we go forward with to make sure that we don't get a downslide mentally or physically. And so whatever is going to happen next, whether we're going back into a sport, back into the gym, back into whatever it might be, a dragon boat, it's like, how can we make sure that that transition experience is good? And so really having like a solid connection with whatever that's going to be is like big for me. I don't want you going to a gym where they're just going to beat you up, you know, because now it's like, what, you know, let's have a conversation about this. You know, I don't want you going into a boat if you're not prepared to go into a boat, and then you're just going to feel defeated, and that nobody feels good when they're defeated, by the way. That just feels awful. And so if you're defeated when you're not strong enough to tolerate the defeat, it's even worse, you know. So
right.
Yeah.
So
Jeri, has your support group grown since you started?
Yes, it has. I think we started out with about 12 or 13 people. And then it quickly grew to about 20. And we've had people that have, you know, come and gone also, as well as gone back into treatment and things like that. But all in all, we have about 35 that are what I would call active. You know, some of them go back into treatment and things like that, but they're coming back, you know what I mean? And then all in all, I think they're overall in the 12 years, there's been about 50 of us. So we have what we call the MAM alums. They're alumni, and still invite them to stuff. So it, you know, it has remained a great group. We've had a lot of tragic life experiences happen to several of us in the boat throughout this time period, and I cannot tell you how close knit this group is, that if something happens, they are there to help you instantly.
Mhm.
So
Well, I was gonna say, you said some of your members, have to go back into treatment,
mm,
and I can just imagine how much dragon boating and getting back to being with you guys, how much hope that gives them, how much like that will lift their spirits, just to get back out there with you guys.
it does. Yeah, it gives them something to look forward to.
I think it's important to say, like, if you know somebody that's going through breast cancer, like maybe this is something that would be good for them. Even if you're not in the Jacksonville area, these teams are all over the
Everywhere.
place. Yeah. So
Okay.
like it might be something to look into as like that next step to like really feeling good again. And then understanding like there's places where you can go that you can get fit for a wig that's an appropriately fitting wig.
Mhm.
Like there's places you can go where you can get fit for a bra if you need a prosthesis, if you haven't had reconstruction. So like these are businesses that exist. It might just be something that you're not aware of. And so the more that we can bring awareness that this is all possible in this world of people that are supporting individuals that have experienced breast cancer is continuing to grow as the awareness continues to grow. So
Yes.
hopefully just shedding that awareness, if you're not here, do some searches and see if something like this exists in your area. That might be something that meets a need. So spread
Exactly.
spread the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Jeri, does In the Pink, does it just support like local, or do you have like people from afar could like, buy through online or things like that?
Well, interestingly enough, I had a shop also on the west coast of Florida in Sarasota. And after the pandemic, and we stayed open because we are a health facility.
Mhm.
And we fall under the term durable medical equipment. And so we were allowed to stay open, but it became difficult to find employees. And so I had to close that shop after 8.5 years. I closed it last December. So now I just have the original location here in
Mhm.
Jacksonville Beach. But I left those clients with nowhere to go. And I promised them that I would take care of them until maybe there was somewhere to go. And so my clients from Sarasota have come with me, and I'm serving them from afar. But you have to understand, these are people I've already seen. I already know what their
Mhm.
likes are. I know what kinds of things, that they
Yeah.
do and can and cannot wear. And so that's working out. But there are a lot of places where you can go to get a wig. Let's say there's a wig shop. There's a
Mhm.
lot of places you can go to get a bra fitting, but there's no place where you can go that does it all in one place, and no place that does it as a nonprofit. So how our nonprofit mission works is, if someone comes in and they have insurance, we file all the insurance for them. We get the prescriptions and everything. And then whatever revenue that is generated from that quote insurance sale, or from something like a scarf being sold that's not covered by insurance, or the radiation cream. So any revenue that's generated here at In the Pink, the money stays at In the Pink in Jacksonville. And then when someone comes in and has a Medicaid card or has no insurance at all, they get what they need for free. So it's just those of us who have insurance taking care of people who are in need. So yeah.
What a great nonprofit. What a great way to help. Especially, if you're going through breast cancer, you're already probably just down a little bit, not feeling great. And then to not be able to afford the things that would help you feel better. And because we all, even us, even someone not going through cancer, like you feel better when you are like feel good about yourself, when you like the way you look, you just feel better.
Yep.
And I can only imagine going through a hard time like that, not being able to afford it. So I think that's amazing work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, no, we love like highlighting people that are like awesome. And so so this is like a no-brainer to get Jeri on. Next month we're going to be moving out of breast cancer awareness. We're going to have a new topic coming up. So like stay tuned for our episodes in November. But Jeri, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you sharing. And all of her information we'll have in the description of the episode below. So if you want to look up in the pink or mammograms or anything like that, we'll have all those clickable links for you. So
Thank you for having me.
of course.
And if you're in the Jacksonville area and you're in need of any equipment like that or looking for a dragon boating team, go see Jeri.
Absolutely. Yes, that is the deal. Thank you for listening to the episode today. If you would like to learn more about how Two Gals can support you, then join our Two Gals Insiders membership, which can be found at www.2-gals.com. Also, don't forget, follow us on social media. We're on Facebook as well as Instagram. Okay, everybody. Bye. Enjoy your week.